Hi, so it has been quite a while since I did a video. I've been reading, it's just I haven't wanted to do video reviews. None of my thoughts seem to have come well to a verbal, auditory, whatever sort of review. I did a lot of written reviews, which I will link below for the books that I read in May. Yeah, sorry about that. Books I read in May. Two of them I do not have my copies of anymore because I've lent them to someone. So I don't have a handy dandy thing to show you. First one I finished was Spinster by Kate Bollock. I really enjoyed that book. I don't read a lot of nonfiction, and certainly not personal stories or personal examples. However, I really enjoyed Miss Bollock's and her historical look at single women in the last 200 years, I guess. I don't think it was really earlier than that. And her slightly in-depth look to Edna St. Vincent Millay, Edith Wharton, Neith Boyce. I'm not really sure how to pronounce her name. Anyway, it was very good. I will link my review down below. Also, I read Cupid is Not a Procrastinator and something like Making Sense of the Single Life by Kate Hurley. It's a Christian look at being single. It is possibly one of the best books I've ever read about being single from a Christian perspective ever. And I'm very appreciative to Kate Hurley for writing it. I could have probably written 70% of that book. I have thought those things, felt those things, probably said those things, and it was very encouraging to have someone else share those things, and also from a very Jesus-centered perspective. I went to Free Comic Book Day and got 7 comics. I've only read one. Sorry for the really grotesque picture. This is Wonderland, Grimm's Tales. It was pretty dark. It was just a taste of the story, but I enjoyed it. It made me want to look at some of the other things that they did. They have 2 about Peter Pan and Neverland and Hook, and of course I wanted those. But I really enjoyed Saint Anything. Sarah Dessen, and I put this in my review, has a bit of a formula in her writing, but it's a really good formula, and I love the way she writes. I don't know if I'd put this up with my favorite. My favorites are The Truth About Forever and Lock and Key, but this was very, very good. So I will also link that thing down there. Nowhere But Here by Katie McGarry. If you have followed my reviews at all, you know that I'm a huge fan of Katie McGarry since I found her about 2 years ago with Pushing the Limits. This is a new series set in a motorcycle club, still very like 2 male, female from different sides of the social boundaries and stuff like that sort of meeting. I liked it better than Take Me On, which was the last book of the Pushing the Limit series. I mostly bought this because you get a free ebook of Chasing Impossible, which is about Logan and Abby. Logan from Dare You 2 and Crash Into You, as well as Abby from Crash Into You. I sort of love Logan, so I'm very much looking forward to that book. Nowhere But Here, I have a review of it. I'll link that down below. I gave it 3 stars. It's definitely not my favorite, and I don't know how much of that's me and how much of that is how the story was written and the content. This is the summer reading for the entire high school where I teach. It's What the Son of God Said About the Word of God. I read it once. I will probably read it before the discussion at the beginning of the year, this coming school year, but I enjoyed it. It was certainly gave me some things to think about, especially about the validity of the Bible and infallibility and the things that a lot of people discuss. So, very interesting. I also finished, it was technically in June, but it was June 2nd, so I figure it counts. I finished How to Read Literature Like a Professor. This is one of the books that seniors, whether they go into AP or regular English at my school, read for the summer. I've been wanting to read it for a very long time. It's by Thomas C. Foster. I really enjoyed this. If you've recently been in a literature class or have studied it within the last couple of years, this might seem a little too juvenile or elementary for you, but it's been a very long time since I took a literature class, which made me really sad when I thought about it. And and also for students who perhaps aren't really big into English or, just don't get English and get literature, which is okay. this is a really good book. I thought it was fun to read. There's a lot of books that were mentioned in there that I had read, some that I had not, and so I definitely made a list of books that I wanted to read. Also wrote a review of this, we'll put below. So that's what I read for the month of May. Not too shabby. I'm still kind of working through a couple of things. Books that I'm currently reading, surprise, surprise, I'm still working on Lord of the Flies. I have to read it really slowly and mark everything. It's just going to take a while. So I'm still working on it, but I haven't given up yet because that would be bad considering I assigned it. I also restarted. I'd started this before, The Book Thief by Mark Zuzak. I tried this a couple years ago, and it's really hard for me to get into. It's still kind of hard here at the beginning, but I do want to read it. This is not a must read. This is just kind of, I'm thinking I'm going to just sort of, every once in a while, it's on my kitchen table, so it might be a breakfast read. And also, I started today because I was watching the movie of it, the musical movie of it. I just really wanted to read it. All of a sudden, I started The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. I've never read this. I've always wanted to read it because it's in sort of the Gothic oeuvre. I don't even know if that's the right word. Like I said, I've always wanted to read it, and for some reason, watching part of the musical today really made me. And so I'm about 26 pages in as of today, and it's not a hard read. I really thought it was going to be like the translation would be weird or something like that. It's awesome. I hope I get to finish it soon. So those are the things I'm currently reading. I have acquired 2 books in the last couple of days. One, my father, he should know better, bought me a book when he was at Costco. Yeah. This would be my 5th copy of Peter Pan, and I am not ashamed of that, okay? Can we talk about how awesome this is? It has a bunch of quotes on it, okay? It has illustrations. Of course, now I can't find one. Has illustrations in it. I mean, really, it's kind of a leathery, probably not real leather, but sort of pleathery kind of cover. My 5th copy. I'm running out of space. Thanks, Dad. You shouldn't feed my addiction, but I appreciate it anyway. And last but not least, I bought this today. I have the Norton Anthology for Shakespeare, but it's really big and very small print, as any of you who have ever had Norton Anthologies know. It's like thin paper. It's like Bible paper. It's like super thin and tiny, and it's just not conducive to, lots of notes and study. So I went to Barnes & Noble today, because that's always a bright idea, and bought Macbeth by Shakespeare, obviously. I'm teaching this next year. It's been a couple of years since I read it. And I read it as an actor. I didn't read it as a teacher, so I'm sure that will change a lot of things. I read this when I went to a Shakespeare acting workshop between my junior and senior year of college. And I played Lady Macbeth for one scene, and it was awesome. So I'm really excited about getting back into this. There's a lot of space to write things. I didn't want the No Fear Shakespeare version, or those like smaller versions that are like this big. This is nice and big. Has lots of notes. I figured, yeah. So those are my acquired books. So that's pretty good for May. Welcome to June. It is June 5th, National Donut Day, for those of you who are not in the know. The donut know. Haha. Yeah, I'm a hoot. My apartment complex actually had some Dunkin' Donuts when I went to go pick up a package. So that was kind of cool because I was never going to get out. I've been writing. For those of you who follow me for my writing, I'm working on a brand new novel. It's brand new in the sense that it's very little is written down. It's been in my head for, I don't know, about 4 years. So I have the chapter breakdown, although there's some holes in it, and I'm working on it. Most of it I wrote in first person. I'm actually attempting to do it in third person point of view. And that's pretty difficult, but I thought I would give it a shot. We'll see if it works out. So I've been writing, reading, listening to music, watching movies. Oh my gosh, I love summer. It's amazing. That's all for me today. Hopefully I'll have more for you, and I'll have finished one of these books, or maybe I'll read something else. Anywho, I'll talk to you later.